Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Captain Charisma back for the first time in a year. That's right, I said it. A year to do a video. The reason I'm going to do videos when I feel like it again is because there's a wrestling war going on, kids and adults. There's a wrestling war on our hands between World Wrestling Entertainment and Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Total Nonstop Action Wrestling and Hulk Hogan. Well, this video is to be talking about Genesis, because I purchased Genesis last night. Yep, I did. Never thought I'd see myself purchase a TNA pay-per-view, but I did, because TNA's getting good lately. So I'm gonna do a quick little talk about the war, and then I'm gonna review Genesis. Is that cool? All right. Oh, before I get started, to heck with Lane Kiffin. This right here is for Lane Kiffin. Thank you. Anyways, this wrestling war going on, I feel, is good for the business. I like it. It's causing both sides to step up their game, even though WWE hasn't yet, but they will. I know they will. They kind of have. But TNA partnering with Hulk Hogan, I'm liking, because they're pushing the young guys, but I do have a couple problems. But I'm going to get to that in my Genesis review, because they kind of did this on Genesis last night. But I feel that this wrestling war, as they're calling it, is good for the business. It's going to make both sides step up their game, and wrestling is going to become good again. But, with that being said, both sides do have flaws. They do need working on, but that's going to be another long video. I don't have time to do a long video today, because I just don't. But Genesis last night, actually it's the second TNA pay-per-view I've ever watched, but I ordered this one. I didn't order the first one. First one I watched was Turning Point 2008, I believe. Something like that. Yeah, Turning Point 2008. That was it. But, anyways, Genesis was actually a okay pay-per-view, but I wasn't as impressed by it as other people I know were. Let's just start. It opened up with Hogan coming out with Bischoff, and the crowd gets all over them for destroying the six-sided ring, which, to the crowd I think getting rid of the six-sided ring is stupid. The six-sided ring is what made you different. You don't want to make yourself look like the other company that you want to put out of business. You need to be different, but, that's just my opinion. What does my opinion matter? But they start talking, and the fans just get all over Hogan. They just start, dissing him and, saying, we want six sides. We want six sides, And it's kind of like Bischoff and Hogan were playing that and just getting at the crowd, which is kind of cool. But one thing I hate is they're doing what WCW did and mentioning WWE on their show. Stupid idea. Stupid. That's a horrible idea. And it's tacky. It's classless. Yeah, it's a business, but mentioning the competition on your show is tacky and a lack of respect and a lack of class. I don't care what Vince McMahon did to you. And by the way, Hogan, he's done nothing to you except make you a star and make you millions and millions of dollars. And Bischoff, he gave you a job after WCW went out of business. So I don't see how you can be hateful towards this man. I can see why Kennedy could be, which I'm going to get to in a minute. Anderson, excuse me. But enough of that. That just made me mad how they do that. The first match tonight was Amazing Red defending his X Division title against the Brian Kendrick. He debuted, and Big B, my friend, as you all know, he loves Brian Kendrick. He almost died of a heart attack. I believe he had tears in his eyes when Brian Kendrick came out. But anyways, Brian Kendrick and Red had a decent match. You could definitely tell Red was having to get used to a four-sided ring again, and you could tell that Brian Kendrick had ring rust, and it was just kind of weird because they couldn't really do any high spots because the freaking rails were way too close to the ring, and the wrestlers barely had any room to move, let alone do any flying things. So it was just an alright match. I'd give it, 3 out of 5, whatever. The second match of the evening was Sean Morley versus Daniels, and this was atrocious. This was horrible. The fact that Sean Morley won over Daniels when he was supposed to be the face, but the crowd was cheering for Daniels because they cheer for TNA Originals. I don't know what booking was thinking on that, but that was a horrible match. I'd give it maybe 1 out of 5, if that. It was horrible. It bored me. There was just nothing to it. Nothing. Then we go to ODB versus Tara. Yet again, another flat match. It didn't live up to what it could have been. Tara wins 2 falls to none over ODB, and is again the Knockouts title. But I think something happened to ODB during the fight, during the match, whatever. I don't know. Which I don't really. Women wrestling nowadays just doesn't appeal to me anymore. Yeah, they're hot to look at, but it's not good, you know. And then we go to Tag Team Championship, British Invasion versus Morgan and Hernandez. Morgan and Hernandez went over. This was actually a decent match. I'd give it about a 2.5 out of 5. It's all right, but again, I'm not big on Hernandez or Matt Morgan or the British Invasion. Not really big on any of those guys, so I didn't really care. It was just like whatever. It was a decent match for the tag team match. Then you move on to Beer Money versus changing. It was supposed to be Nash and Hall, but Hall didn't want to wrestle, so Nash and Waltman. This was good for what it was. They actually did better than I thought. I'd give this 2.5 out of 5 also. This was, your typical match with Kevin Nash in it, and, X-Pac looked pretty good. And Beer Money went over, which was very surprising to me. But Beer Money did, in fact, go over on those guys, which was awesome, So big props to Beer Money for that. So that was a 2.5 out of 5 match. Then we move on to Abyss versus the debuting Mr. Anderson. 2 parts of this. Anderson comes out, debuts, gets really over with the crowd. He, everyone's happy to see him and all this, and they love him. During the match was horrible. But I don't really think you can blame that on Mr. Kennedy, because Mr. Kennedy didn't really match up too well with Abyss. Mr. Kennedy should have wrestled someone more his size for his first match, not Abyss. It takes a very special person to have a great match with Abyss. Kennedy couldn't do it. The crowd started getting on him, and really, it wasn't really Kennedy's fault. It was just a bad booking decision. So, but anyways, Kennedy's in TNA. I'd give that match 1.5 out of 5, maybe. That's being generous. It wasn't a good match. And then we move on to the main event, which did deliver Kurt Angle, AJ Styles for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Oh my freaking god. This was a very good match. I'd give it a 4 out of 5. This is the only thing on this pay-per-view other than Mr. Kennedy debuting that you need to get out and find. But even then, you don't really need to. You can just kind of wait for it to surface on the internet and watch it. But it was a very good match. AJ's heel, apparently. Ric Flair, towards the end, Ric Flair pulled the referee out, handed AJ the belt. AJ hit Kurt with the belt and got the win. So, apparently, Ric Flair and AJ are going to be heels now. Which, this could work because AJ is a very, very good heel. And with Ric Flair guiding him in this heel role, that could be very, very good. But I'm not sure if, I don't know. We'll wait and see what's going to happen with Kurt Angle. I've heard rumors still that he's going back to Vince, but I don't know. I'd give that a 4 out of 5, like I said. Overall, Genesis was okay, but it kind of just didn't live up to the awesomely mega super hype like they promised. I'd give it 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10. I'd maybe go to 6.5, but I'd definitely just stick with a 6 out of 10. This was just a decent little pay-per-view. It had its spots. It had its really boring spots. But definitely AJ. Oh, I forgot a match. God dang it. Desmond Wolfe and the Pope. This was the second best match of the night. I'd give it a 3.5 out of 5. Those two just went at it. It was a little bit slow, but they actually did do very good together. They went at it. So, yeah. I'd go 6 out of 10 on Genesis. So, definitely, I wouldn't recommend purchasing the replay of this pay-per-view. I just watch TNA Impact or watch reviews and wait for it to surf on the internet. I wouldn't recommend purchasing it. So, that's it. It's my Genesis review. There will be more videos coming from me soon, I hope. And maybe, if any of you remember the old TVWC days, and Malin's wanting to do a Malin zone. And I have a camera. That's not a webcam. So if I can find a place for him to go and rant and cuss on the wrestling business, you very, very well see a Malin zone. So that's it. Thanks you guys for watching. Those few of you who will. And leave some comments. Let me know some feedback. And that's it. Peace. And screw Lane Kiffin.